All right, ready to unlock a secret about how your brain works.
How our brains work.
Yeah. Today, we're diving into the world of curiosity
Ooh, I like that.
and how it actually lines up with scientific thinking. You might be thinking a sixth grade textbook.
Yeah. Sounds a little simple.
But trust us, this deep dive into the wonderful world of science is going to be interesting.
It will be.
It will. This deep dive is going to reveal how even the simplest concepts hold the keys to unlocking bigger questions we all have.
I think one of the most fascinating things about this textbook is how it doesn't just throw facts at you.
Yeah, right.
It really taps into that feeling we had as kids when the world was this giant playground of mysteries
Totally.
just waiting to be solved.
Remember that feeling when you'd stumble upon something amazing?
Yeah.
For me, it was ants.
Ants.
Oh, yeah, those tiny architects building their empires. I was hooked. I'd spend hours just watching them, totally mesmerized.
And that's exactly the spirit this textbook captures.
You think so?
Yeah. It reminds us that at its core, science is driven by that same childlike curiosity.
It is.
It's about looking around and asking why.
And it's not just about asking why for the sake of it either, really.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The wonderful world of science makes it clear that science is an active process. It even says, think of it as a big adventure. We ask questions, explore the world, and try to understand how things work. For this, the most important thing is to have curiosity, which is where the title of this book comes from.
Okay, that's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
They're saying curiosity is like the key that unlocks this whole adventure of understanding the world.
Exactly. And what's even better is they emphasize that this is something we all possess.
We do.
Oh, yeah. It's not limited to scientists in labs.
Yeah.
It's a way of thinking, observing, and interacting with the world around us.
It's like they're saying we're all scientists at heart.
Yeah.
The fact that you brought in this specific book for your deep dive tells me you really connect with that idea. It's like you're already on that wavelength. So if we're all scientists at heart, how does that actually play out in our lives?
Yeah.
We don't all have beakers and Bunsen burners lying around.
That's the beauty of it. We don't need fancy equipment to think scientifically.
True.
Remember, the textbook lays out the classic scientific method.
Okay.
Observation, question, guess, test, and analyze.
Okay, that takes me back to science class for sure. But I bet you use this method all the time without even realizing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you?
Yeah. Just the other day, I was trying to figure out why my basil plant wasn't doing so well.
Ah, the case of the wilting basil.
Exactly.
Walk me through your scientific process, detective.
So my initial observation was that the leaves were drooping and a bit yellow,
Okay.
which led me to the question of whether it was getting enough water.
A classic gardening conundrum. What was your guess?
Well, my hypothesis was that I had been underwatering it.
Okay.
So to test this, I gave it a good soak and waited to see what happened.
Okay, so you had your experiment and...
After a day or two, the plant perked right back up.
Really?
Yeah. So through that simple process of observation, questioning, hypothesizing, testing, and analyzing the outcome, I managed to save my basil.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
See? Science in action.
Yes.
Saving the herbs one experiment at a time. And you know what I love about this example?
What?
It highlights that the scientific method isn't just about solving mysteries in a lab. It's a practical tool for navigating everyday life.
Precisely. And just like learning to care for a plant helps it thrive, the wonderful world of science suggests that understanding the scientific method can empower us to tackle bigger questions too.
And speaking of bigger questions, this book doesn't shy away from those, does it?
Not at all.
I mean, it covers everything from stars to rain to the basic building blocks of matter.
It does. And what's really neat is how it connects those big concepts back to our own curiosity.
Yeah, how so?
Well, for instance, it talks about how ancient civilizations looked up at the stars and wondered what they were made of.
Okay.
It's the same curiosity we all have, just applied on a grander scale.
It's like that curiosity as a thread connecting us all the way back to our ancestors staring up at the same night sky. And, when I think about it, that sense of wonder is what drives so many incredible discoveries.
Totally.
It's what makes us want to understand how things work,
Yeah.
where we came from,
Yeah,
what else is out there.
exactly. And this textbook does a fantastic job of capturing that sense of awe and wonder. It doesn't just present facts. It invites you to explore alongside it.
I like that.
Yeah.
It does.
Take, for example, its section on the water cycle.
It's like, we all know rain comes from clouds, but
Yeah.
this book breaks down how that water actually gets up there in the first place. It's like a magic trick, but the science behind it is even cooler.
Exactly. And it shows how even something we might take for granted like rain
Yeah,
can lead to these amazing scientific journeys.
it does.
The book even uses the water cycle to touch upon climate change, which again connects to this idea of using scientific understanding to tackle bigger issues facing our world.
It's like the wonderful world of science is showing us that curiosity isn't just about satisfying our own sense of wonder. It's also the driving force behind solving problems and making the world a better place.
Totally. And the best part is this journey of discovery never really ends.
It doesn't.
No. Remember how the book emphasizes that science is an ongoing process?
Yeah.
We don't have all the answers,
Right.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's the questions that keep us exploring, experimenting, and pushing the boundaries of what we know.
It's like we're all part of this massive collaborative quest to understand the universe and our place in it. And that brings us back to you, dear listener. What will your why be today? What little mysteries have you been curious about?
What questions have been bubbling in the back of your mind? Maybe it's something simple, like figuring out why your coffee maker is acting up. Or maybe it's a bigger question about the world around you. Whatever it is, don't be afraid to tap into that curiosity and explore it.
You heard it here, folks. You don't need a lab coat or a fancy degree to embrace the scientific method. All you need is that spark of curiosity and the willingness to ask why. Who knows what amazing things you might discover? This deep dive into the wonderful world of science may be over for now, but we hope it sparked a flame in you, a flame to keep asking questions, keep exploring, and never stop being curious about the world around you.